afternoon, good morning. It's not any of those things, it's the evening. So good evening. Thanks for coming tonight to our 5th annual State of Basha Address. The reason why I do this every year is because I think it's important that our community, our staff, there's a lot of staff here, a lot of our PTO board, thank you for staying here and listening to me every year. I got it, we're good. I think it's important that the community knows exactly what the vision is for the school, and maybe if you're new to the community, you want to know what the vision is and you're trying to make the right choice, because there's a lot of choice out there now. So I think that I know that Basha is pretty wonderful. Chandler Unified School District is a wonderful place to work and a wonderful place to raise your children. I have all of my 4 children. Finally, I can say that they're all in school and all in Chandler Unified School District. Next year I'll have 1 in high school, 1 in junior high, and 2 in elementary. So if I'm late, forgive me. I will be here, I promise. But I just want to make sure that everybody knows what our vision is here at Basha Elementary School, and to share a few of the highlights throughout our school year and where we're going in the future. So I'm going to use this fantastic interactive flat panel. So that's what this is called. If you hear IFP, this is called an IFP, fancy name. I was at a principal meeting this morning. They're like, what's the name of that really cool thing in your library? An IFP. And I have to thank the PTO for believing in us and all of our wonderful dreams of technology, because they come true and these kiddos love it. So I get to show you how I use it just for PowerPoint. So this is like its low-tech function right here. Oh look, see, it just changed. It's great. So this is the first slide, which I only have a few slides because I think it's not about what the visual is. It's about who we are as Basha. So this just exemplifies our district plan, Journey 2025. A couple years ago it was Journey 2020. Now it's Journey 2025. And what that is that our governing board, our superintendent have put out the call to action for all of our staff to be the best that we possibly can be in 2025, that we're nationally recognized, and we're already on many levels nationally recognized. So academic excellence, outstanding staff, effective resource management, and culture of success. I believe all of these qualities you will see in Basha Elementary School as you walk through the hallways, you come to these meetings, you see the events that Ms. Vogus and our team puts on. We definitely have a culture of success here, and I'm going to highlight some of those pieces tonight for you. Well, sometimes it's new technology and I don't get to use it very often, so bear with me. The kids are better than I am. So our culture of success. 5 years ago when I came here, we were looking to identify ourselves, create a name for ourselves, and so what we've done is we have a great motto. Hopefully your kids say it at home. Pride in the PAC. We have PAC assemblies. PAC stands for positive, achieving, compassionate kids. So instead of me taking the Journey 2025 goals that we just saw a minute ago, we're actually going to go through a few slides, and I'm going to show you just how we exemplify pride in the PAC here at Basha Elementary School. Let me try this. See, another interactive flat panel tool here. So achieving excellence. This picture is not the best picture, but it's a great picture for me because it's one of my most favorite things to see is when teachers learn. Before school even started, this is in our media center. That's just a few of our teachers learning a new piece of program right from the beginning. So it aligns with thinking maps. So we talked about thinking maps. We brought thinking maps 3 years ago, about 3.5 years ago, and now this is that second step. So for about 5 years I've been talking about this wonderful writing program, and finally we have it, and that is right from the beginning. Those are just the manuals that you see right from the beginning and beyond. The work is really right here. The teacher's learning, the training, and how many of you, raise your hands, if you've seen your kiddos come home with thinking maps that translate to writing. Okay, that is so good for me to see, is that almost every hand was raised. Because that is something that we have focused on as far as showing that we are achieving in our pride in the PAC, but also that academic excellence for Journey 2025 is us implementing this component. The past 2 years we focused on math. We've maintained and even exceeded those goals in growth and achievement. So we're like, okay, we've done math. We're still going to continue to focus on math, but we need to really focus on writing. And how do we get to that point? So we look at our scores from the Arizona Merit, as well as just our classroom, our overall classroom work samples, and say, where do we need to really focus so we can make best bang for our buck, or we can definitely impact instruction on multiple levels. And writing transcends all the subjects. So it's really kind of neat to see, even though we differentiate in 5th and 6th grade, you have social studies and science, we have social studies, language arts, and science and math together. In dyads, you still will see some of those writing pieces being graded by a math teacher or a science teacher, because we know that writing transcends all the different content areas. Sometimes I didn't think I put transitions in here. Guess I did. Achieving. Another piece, you'll see some of the similar graphics from last year, but you'll see that we have response to intervention. Every day, 5 days a week, we have response to intervention time. And that's 30 minutes, and what that is, it's the one-room schoolhouse effect, where across a grade level, we look at kiddos that need some extra intervention, we group them and put them into a classroom where there is a level of support. That is a tier 2 support, so sometimes it will be in the form of burst, which is a part of an Orton Gillingham-based program. Through Dibbles, we have Foundations, which is Orton Gillingham as well. Foundations also is intermingled with Tier 1 on occasions. And then sometimes we also need Tier 3, which is some of our Wilson groupings and different things like that. Also, that's just for English language arts. We have a component too, where in some grade levels, we do enrichment. So not all of our kids need intervention. Some of our kiddos need enrichment, so we do look at those pieces. And then, for example, in 6th grade, we have problem-based learning that we have some of our students go to, a larger group of students, so that they can also get those enrichment projects too, because they are where they need to be in that particular grade level. So our staff does a really good job at looking at the data points, triangulating the data points, and then making sure that our kiddos are getting what they need, whether that be intervention or that be enrichment. Another piece right here, this is one of my favorite books to read, is we do have gifted clustering in 3rd through 6th grade here at Basha Elementary School. And that's something that we don't necessarily come out and say very often, but I think it's something we should be very proud of. So gifted clustering means that if you read this book, Total School Cluster Grouping and Differentiation, that is a wonderful book because what it talks about is the cluster grouping model. The cluster grouping model is when we take students that are identified gifted and talented, that may not want to go to a self-contained gifted program, but they want to be here on this campus because of social reasons, because it's their home school, but they're also given other students in the classroom that aren't gifted, that are your general education student, very fun, and they get this community sense by being here at Basha. But it allows for those kiddos to have that cohort within the classroom so that they can work with those students if there needs to be that enrichment or acceleration piece. But it also gives the teacher the opportunity because they have the expertise to move forward. So presently, all of our teachers 3rd through 6th grade that are gifted cluster teachers either have their gifted endorsement on their certificate or are working towards their gifted endorsement. So that's a requirement too that we have, that I have, of our gifted cluster teachers. We also have this graphic right here, ATI. I have it up there. That's just the name of a benchmark testing program. And the reason I have it up there is because we talked about triangulating data. Anybody know what triangulation of data means? You better know. There should be more hands if there's any other teachers in here. Ms. Sheffield, what does triangulation of data mean?
We have to have at least 3 data points, so we're not looking at just one piece of student information. We have multiple pieces.
And we talked a little bit about that at staff meetings, but most of our teachers are able to take their data points and triangulate their data. Ms. Vogus, who has music, she always kind of just jumps right in there in a different grade level to talk about those different pieces. But this is one piece of the data that we have. We do we do summative benchmarks, and that is just the testing system that we use. And so we just want to talk about our focus on the social piece as well as the academic piece. And the social piece. I have Love and Logic. Yes, that is it's a book, and you can go to professional development series. As a parent, you can go as well. And really, I use that because that's something that I personally like to use as I'm dealing with students here at Basha Elementary School. Because we need to recognize, and our staff does too, the developmental levels of our kiddos. Consequences, are they logical? Are they relevant? So as we go through and we try to meet the social emotional needs of our students, we look at that Love and Logic piece too. Okay, this is exciting. 2 things that are really exciting, because these are our visions for the future, and maybe future being today, I found out. This right here is a 3D printer. The exact same printer that's currently in that lab as of today, plugged in. Yes, so excited. I know that Ms. Dwyer had talked about 3D printer, and guess what? We have made our first item. It's a shark. I haven't seen it yet. We're going to debut it, but Ms. Fowl walked out of the building today around, well, I won't say what time, definitely late, and she walked out and she goes, we have our first 3D printed item. I go, what is it? It's a shark. Okay, that's great. What does it look like? Can I see it? She goes, yeah, let me go get it. I'm like, no, it's late. You go home. I'll see it tomorrow. Maybe I'll send it. We'll send it out in like the Infinite Campus Blast on Friday. So
We should get a sneak peek from you.
she didn't let me go in there and get it. So I know it's in there, but I would hate to go in there and like rifle through her stuff to show you. But, and just like as a side note, I think she's going to give it to Ms. Moore, our admin assistant, because she really worked hard in getting quotes and everything else. And so that's going to be a little token of thank you from Ms. Fallon and the Basha community to Ms. Moore. But very cool. We actually have two. Here's why. Our district gave us this information where we have the MakerBot and then we have like a mini MakerBot. So there's two. So you know how sometimes you buy a bundle? It's like a bundle package. Yes. So it's very exciting. 3D Printing Club should be happening, the applications, because we think that there will be a lot of people that are students that will want to be part of that. So those will come hopefully soon. We're just trying to make sure we have everything right before we start the program. And then if something doesn't, we want them to be able to make things, right? Like here's this great piece of technology. Let's make sure it works right. So that's what we're doing right now. So it's very exciting. This graphic right here, that's the second step poster. Second step is a social emotional curriculum that is currently not adopted by the district. It is on 60-day review. I believe it's at the IRC, our Instructional Resource Center. Next year, our school and another elementary school in Chandler are going to pilot this program. And that is going to tap into that social emotional piece that we so need to have here in all of our elementary schools. I'm not sure because I've never implemented it myself. I've only know what I've read, but it is a piece that will be a focus weekly on a social emotional skill, and it's scaffolded K through 6th grade. We're seeing more and more, and I think you guys can understand too, that we see more and more, not just in elementary school, but even you read the news or you watch the news, and every day there's something unfortunate that happens to our kiddos, or they're exposed to in junior high or high school. Why not intervene early like we do all the time? We have a tiered intervention of support for academics. We need a tiered intervention system for social emotional. And our superintendent and our elementary education assistant superintendent very much on board, want to see what the outcomes are. We're going to be collecting data points, and so 60-day review with the IRC if you want to check that out. Next letter in our acronym PAC is compassionate. So most of you were there. Raise your hand if you were there at this beautiful event right here. Here's why Bash is different, I think. Maybe I'm biased. Other than we have a State of Basha Address. I don't think every school does that. But, and I have to use this really awesome microphone to be louder for Holly back there. But compassionate, which we also used this fantastic microphone at that time, and it worked for the most important thing. And the most important thing was when these kids lined up not to race. It's when, after they dropped their frozen turkey, kindly, into a pallet, and walked over and got to hear Katie Kale, who's the director of the Care Center, talk a little bit about what they do at the Care Center. Now I'm sure, even if my own children were there, not all of it kind of went in, because they're so excited to race and just be a part of Basha on a Saturday. But 172 turkeys were donated to a Chandler organization to help Chandler families on Thanksgiving. And that's what gives me chills. The amount of compassion from this community is amazing. And then we had help from our families. Thank you, Ms. Beach and your family, for helping us get Big Red out, and the Chismars for Sun Devil, and of course, the Vogus family for our Zoomer. Because her son, Max, sorry, Will's the other one. Max is our Zoomer. And it was just an amazing place to be that day. So just to recap, here's how we show compassion here, and thank you, Ms. Sheffield, for providing this fantastic piece of art from your students. That's actually our Basha Christmas card. We, as CUSD schools, we always put out a Christmas card on email, and that was actually ours, and we said, hope the wonder of the season, something catchy is great. And, but we use that as a backdrop because that's truly who we are as Basha. So 172 turkeys were collected for that Chandler Care Center Thanksgiving Day Assistance Program. $392 was collected recently for fans across America, so that was our Veterans Day Dollar Drive. 200 toys were collected for the Hartford Holiday Toy Drive. We thought it was lower, but then as the toys trickled in even after the toy drive, it was around 200. Basha Chorus went to go sing to the Ocotillo Village Assisted Living Center, I believe that's what it's called. And then $824 recently was collected from just third grade students on the 100th day of school. So our third grade teachers, I love them. They came to me and they said, like the day before the 100th day of school, can we collect $1 from everybody or 100 pennies for the 100th day of school, and we're going to donate that to Phoenix Children's Hospital. I said, great. And then we talked about like cash handling procedures, and we got that all set. Well, then the very next day, I mean, we were counting money, and they were talking to me, $824. We only have around 90 third graders. So that tells you we had kids emptying their piggy banks. We had parents come bringing us checks, and I didn't even know why these parents were bringing checks. But I'm like, great, thank you. Great, thank you. And then we knew it was for a good cause. It was for PCH. So we're also doing Jump Rope for Heart. That's for American Heart Association. So I think when you look at the PTO, how much money that has been brought in, and I appreciate the PTO understanding our community and saying, hey, that second fundraiser would be great, and it would be wonderful to build our funds, but we're doing all these other things too, and this is what rounds out a school. This is what makes Basha quite unique. I know other schools do it too, but the way that we do it, I haven't seen since I've been a principal, even in my previous experience as a principal. Communication, we try to do parent surveys. Hopefully everybody takes that. We sent it out last year via Infinite Campus, because that does come from the district office as far as what the parent survey looks like. We didn't have a great response last year. I think we had less than 100 parents respond. And when you think of all the parents that actually work at Basha, I think our parent surveys were probably a little skewed favorably. But we would like more input from our parents for sure. I will say site council too. We have several people like Ms. Birch is on the site council and some people that are here. But this year, hopefully, you guys recognize the site council decided, let's do a survey to the staff about the recess procedures in the morning. Yes, some people are excited about that. And we sent it out to staff, so it's site council sponsored. We've got all the community representatives on there. And the teachers said, hey, let's give this a go. Let's let the kiddos play before school. It was so amazing, because when I came here 5 years ago, I was like, why are they standing there? It was weird, but I didn't know why. There's always logic, right? Because you walk into a classroom, there's always logic behind the practice, you hope. And so it just became illogical because we didn't have 1,000 kids anymore. We weren't looking at those supervision issues that we probably were several years ago when it was logical to do that. So our kids play now before school. And it's so great. First graders walk through the hallway the first day, they go,
That's what I was kidding.
yes, you get to play. So those surveys do matter. We do look at them. We looked at them in site council because the site council said, well, are we going to send this survey out to parents too? And we said there's no need because the staff are on board. I really don't think any parent would be opposed. I mean, there may be some parents opposed, but for the most part, for the past 40 years, I've been hearing from parents saying, why do you do this? And my answer was, Because sometimes just because it's what you always do doesn't mean it's what's best. And that's another thing that makes Basha amazing, is that we get together as a staff, and the staff are so reflective and thoughtful that just because it's always worked like this doesn't mean it's going to work all the time for every kid. So we do have differentiation. We do have those RTI pieces and that compassionate component. Web pages, as you know, PTO is looking for help with their web page. We do get to pay somebody a stipend here, and so Kelly, if nobody wants to do it here, I can ask that teacher for the help, the little help. Teacher web pages are helpful, not always up to date because we're working on it. I think in the junior high and high school that you'll see more updates to their web pages. It's a little bit different in elementary because I believe that there's a little more of that connection between teacher and parent, so they're emailing you directly or emailing you via IC so that they can create that relationship. Infinite Campus, we do every Friday a couple years ago, we got our parent survey back, and it said our communication from the office was not where we wanted it to be. And so Danelle has been amazing. We confer all week long, and she sends out the IC blast on Friday to everybody. And we always sign it, our Basha staff, because really it's a collective effort. It's not just me saying this is what's going on, it's also PTO, it's Stugo, it's teachers, it's third grade when they have a great idea that they want to end Infinite Campus. PTO Facebook, and then last but not least, Twitter. How many of you have a Twitter account? Well, I know you do because you like everything of mine. Thank you, yes. You're not allowed a Twitter account, daughter. Even when you're in high school, mom will have access to that. Because Twitter is also an awesome way to network, and it's a wonderful way to get the news out about Basha Elementary School. So with that being said, I am going to show you a video that we recently tweeted out. It's only a couple minutes long, but it's going to be the highlight of your night. I am not the highlight of your night. This will be the highlight of your night. Yeah, so the end of that video showed Ms. Bogus and Ms. G, who worked a ton. So sometimes I have these crazy ideas, and I'll say, hey Megan, what do you think about this? And it's actually national school choice. They have dance moves, and it's a national movement. They provide us with the scarves, and it's a public relations movement to show the nation, you know, there are differences in schools. There's public schools and private charter, and we're all very different, and we all offer something quite unique. So, hey Megan, what do you think about this? And she, yeah, you know, and her Megan White, because she's always up for something good. And then she got Ms. G on board, Mrs. Gutierrez. And so really, you guys deserve all the credit in the world, because that was amazing. The kids had a ton of fun. They created a schedule. Nobody's eyes got hurt from the felt scarf. Megan's so, yeah, there might be some eyes scars, but it'll be fine, it'll be good. So that's what makes Basha unique. Not just our dancing skills, really. It's our community, and I say this all the time, and I say it in front of all my colleagues and my peers. Our community is amazing. Our staff is amazing. There's plenty of you out here in the audience right now, not just certified, classified, too. I mean, you kind of have the hardest job being a lunch aide, and you definitely are the heart of So it really does. I know it's cliche, but it's true. It takes a village, and we are quite unique in positive, achieving, compassionate, or raising together positive, achieving, compassionate kids. And we just appreciate your partnership. And if you ever have any questions, I do have a policy where I want to communicate. So please reach out to me via email, set up an appointment. We will definitely have those conversations. If something doesn't feel right, your inkling's probably correct, and let's problem solve that together and provide those logical explanations as to why we do this, or how can we do this better? Because I think that's the key as we look at education and how it's changing in our kids and our society. I was just at a brain-based research professional development training on Wednesday, and they said the average attention span of a child nowadays that has the technology, and when they say child, they were talking more of like your freshman, your junior high, 2.7 seconds. How does a teacher change up their engagement every 2.7 seconds? It's impossible. So they really have an amazing task, the teachers in the classroom. But 2.7 seconds, and it's because if you look at your phone and you play a game, the amount of movement, you'll see movement every 2.7 seconds. I challenge you to go home and watch that. Play a game or watch your child play a game and see how often something in that background changes. So it's a very different child we're educating these days, and they're very complex. And I'm not just saying because of technology, I'm saying the academic piece, the accountability piece, and then the social emotional. So we really try to have a good balance here at Basha Elementary School, which is why we are, I believe, the school of choice. In Chittenden, fine, in the state, but in general, because we just got everything going for us, and that really lies within you. So thank you for your partnership. Thank you for coming tonight.